All right, all done that rental showing, and we learned a few things from it by asking probing questions. So if you are looking to rent or buy or sell, it's good to know your wants before you go through the action. I'll give you an example, okay? So they got there and instantly knew too small, and it was a house, but yeah, too small. He has a lot of instruments. He's very, very musical, so too small. Now, whose fault is that? It's my fault. It's my fault for not knowing and knowing that information beforehand. And these are the types of things that we're going to put together on a almost like a survey of asking questions. I want to know more about it before we get there. So I drove like 35-40 minutes to this location, and then got there sooner than them, turned on all the lights, and then instantly they knew too small. So the search is going to continue, which is totally fine. This is what real estate is. You got to search for what you're looking for. If this place wasn't too small, it would have been perfect. It was just so nice inside. Great kitchen, 2 bedrooms, bathroom, had washer and dryer, and an incredible backyard. It appeared to be a nice street, so if we could just go boop, 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 expand it out a little bit, it would have been a little bit better. And but yeah, so let's talk about something in your own checklist that you should think about if you're thinking of buying. You're going to want to know how many bedrooms you have. You're going to want to future-proof it a little bit. Are you having an expanding family at all? Do you plan on having family stay with you for extended periods of time? So it might be just you or you and your spouse, and so you'll say 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. But what if you have guests that stay over? So maybe that 3rd and 4th bedroom is something that you want on your checklist. I'll tell you about my first house when I moved to Orillia from a basement apartment in Barrie. Our original search was we wanted 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and we wanted an upstairs with a basement apartment. So at the time, basement apartments in Barrie were illegal, so there weren't too many that had been built properly. They were more like in-law suites, that sort of thing. So we were searching and searching and searching, but we didn't necessarily have the checklist, and we were searching and searching for months. We went almost, I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 times a week, looking at 2 or 3 houses a day. So you can put that math together, right? I'm gonna say we started in around May. We ended up buying in October. So do the math. That's how many houses we looked at. And it was quite the extensive search of finding places with a basement apartment. That was essentially the only thing that we were really looking for. So, at the end of the search, we found what was to be thought our dream home in Orillia. And, the outside was super old, but the inside had been very tastefully restored. It was almost 100-year-old home at the time. We ended up living there for 8 years. So the things that we wanted: 2 bedroom, we wanted 2 bathrooms as well, and that's what we got. So we ended up getting a 3rd bedroom with the thought of expanding, because it had an attic upstairs, which was like one of those old school stairs going upstairs, and peak ceiling. It was like super big up there. We ended up not renovating it at all, but that was our thought process. The thought process was, what if we wanted to expand? And we didn't end up needing to expand. At year 7 of living there, we had a baby. And so she filled that 3rd bedroom. And so when we had guests over, they stayed in the 2nd bedroom, and then the baby in the 3rd one. But then eventually, we didn't enjoy our neighbors. The street got a little rougher around the edges around us, and I said, I don't want to raise a baby here. So we picked up our search for home number 2, and at that point, we had the checklist, right? Here's what we want. We want a bigger lawn, bigger lot. We want a bigger house, because now we have equity in this home that we paid off a lot of this home over the last 8 years. So we have built up equity. We have built up money for even more money down on the house, because we were paying it off plus saving throughout those 8 years. I remember I'll backtrack here a little bit. The first house was a little touch and go for the first 6 months, because we had increased our output by quite a bit to pay off this first house. And it was a little touch and go just in terms of budgeting, but we figured it out. It was good. So second house, we knew kind of what we were looking for. We definitely wanted at least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So we ended up with 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom. We call it 2.5, right? Because there's 2 showers, 1 out of bathtub, and then the downstairs just like a toilet, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is that you want to have yourself a checklist before you go in there. And what I'll do in the description below is put down a checklist, things to think about before you go buy that house. What are your needs of that house? And I'll just put, maybe 10 different items to think about before you buy a house. And if you're looking to buy in Orillia or even the surrounding area, I take care of, I'm in Port McNichol right now. So I take care of all over the place, right? I'd be more than happy to help you and help you with this checklist and make sure that we're making the right decision on the property, right? Not just think with your eyes, but think with your mind, think with your budget, think about the future as well. Whenever you buy this house, can you see yourself there 5 years from now? Now, if you go back to my story, we thought our house was going to be the forever home, and we ended up, circumstances changed. We had a baby. We had different neighbors move in. Things were a little bit sketchy with the neighbors, and so again, I said, well, maybe this isn't our forever home. And we moved into a new spot, which is now what we think going to be our forever home, probably until we retire and want to move to Costa Rica, something like that, Ecuador, Mexico, that sort of thing. But yeah, this place now is just perfect, right? But how did we get in the market? We had a good down payment for that first starter home, lived there for 8 years, built up equity, built up what we know, what we need, what we want. It's a big truck. I'm just merging onto a highway over here. I better put it in power mode, and get around this guy with this huge boat. Holy smokes. And so, yeah, just continue to build that equity. Here's one of the concerns, or one of the things that first-time home buyers say to me is that we are building up our down payment still. I remember doing the same thing. When I bought my first house, we couldn't buy with 5% down. And when I bought my first house, which was 12 years ago now, we bought it for $256,000. That same house value right now, 12 years later, is $500,000. Just over, actually, probably like $550,000. And so if we had waited another year, 2, 3 years, and we would have had to build up more of a down payment, because the value of the house, it went up about 5% a year. So now with the 5% down rule, yes, it's through CMHC. You have to pay back an insurance. We can get into the details on that as well. Let me know if you want more information about that. And I can definitely set you up with that info. But if we had had the option of 5% down, we would have been in there a heck of a lot quicker than we were, paying down the CMHC insurance, paying down the mortgage, building equity in that house, right? That's like faster. So it would have been a better economical decision for us if that was available back then. It wasn't, so we had to put down $56,000 on a $250,000 house. So that's like 20% down we put down. Crazy, like crazy. 20% down, everybody. That's a hard thing to do. So, I mean, you got to assess your budget. You know, if you could pay a little bit less and it did save you some time and money, would you do that? These are things that you got to think about in your I want to buy checklist, because you could get into the market quicker. Right now, house prices in Orillia are going down, and you know, we are December, and traditionally December is one of the slowest months of the year. But what comes after December, January, where things start to pick up. The spring market is in people's eyes. February all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, March, and then whammo, we're in the spring market, right? So I just wanted to pop on, hopefully provide you guys a little bit of value in your life. And that value is checklist. Let's come up with a checklist together. I'll put it in the description below once I post this video. I'm also going to put my contact information all throughout the video here. You've probably seen it already. Feel free to call me. I'm sitting there right beside my phone. I will answer the phone, and if not, I will call you back probably within minutes. I'm hungry for business. I love helping people and you know, providing an amazing customer service experience. My goal is, whenever I help you buy or sell your house, that you go and tell all your friends how incredible I was. And if you don't do that, then I failed you, and I cannot allow that to happen. So I am quite literally here for you to make it so you have the single best buying and selling experience of your life. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. It's pretty incredible. I've been rambling for like almost 12 minutes now. Hit that like, hit the subscribe for more videos just like this, and you know, comment below about your first time buying a house or your first time selling a house. Do you think a checklist could have helped you maybe narrow things down a little bit quicker? Let me know. My name is Mike Connor. I'm from Royal LePage, and again, thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.